Hello and welcome back to EarthSky. I'm Deborah Byrd, speaking with you live at our all-new time, straight up noon Central Time in the US on Monday, October 6th. So late at night on October 9/10, we in North America are going to witness a beautiful sky event. The waning moon will pass right in front of this star cluster that's behind me, the beautiful Pleiades star cluster, also called the Seven Sisters. Astronomers call this type of event an occultation. The moon is said to occult these stars. And we know most of you don't have telescopes, but we're here to tell you how you can watch this great event and also just generally introduce you to the Pleiades. You should really get to know the Pleiades. It's one of the most famous and recognizable sights in the night sky. And once you learn to recognize the Pleiades, these stars will be with you for life, I promise. But first, here's something we can all see tonight, October 6th, the night of the full super harvest moon. It'll rise into your eastern sky at sunset this evening, right next to a golden star-like object, the planet Saturn. The moon and Saturn will appear near each other all night tonight, so watch for them. And come to EarthSky's Visible Planet Guide to find more about the planets in the October night sky. The link is in the post description. And now I'd like to bring in my friend, Marcy Curran, who is EarthSky's voice of the night sky here on YouTube. Hi, Marcy. Marcy.
Hi,
You
everyone.
have been watching the sky as long as I have. 50 years. And didn't you tell me that one of your favorite observations was watching the moon pass in front of Venus?
Yes, that is one of my most memorable occultations. It was
Uh-oh, Marcy, we
already
can't hear you.
Oh no.
Okay, we're pausing for a
Can you
moment.
hear me?
Jeremiah, we can't hear Marcy.
I'm checking my settings.
Oh, the best laid plans. Marcy, try leaving the studio and coming back, and I will just tell folks about what's going on here. Okay, she'll be back in a second. Let me just say that these Pleiades occultations don't happen all the time. And the reason for that is that the moon is on an 18.6-year cycle. There's Marcy. We'll talk more about that 18.6-year cycle in a second. Can we hear you, Marcy?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Oh, darn. Okay, we cannot hear you. Okay, Marcy, we're going to say goodbye for now, and maybe Jeremiah can figure out what's going on with you, and I'm just going to keep on going. Bye. So sorry. Okay, you guys. Let's see. Where are we going next? Let's go here, because we are here to talk about the moon blotting out one of the most famous star clusters, the Pleiades or Seven Sisters, on the night of October 9/10. So if you don't know this cluster, it's very easy to pick out, but you might want to do what I did this morning from the middle of downtown Austin, Texas, which is a metro area of about 2 million people, very, very lit up where I am. I walked outside. I looked up. I just tried to just see if I could see the Pleiades, and I could not see it because my sky was too bright. But then I used the belt of Orion to point, because I know that the belt of Orion points to the Pleiades. So if you know the constellation Orion, you can use it to find the Pleiades or to confirm that the object you're looking at is the Pleiades. But you don't really need to know the constellation Orion or the Pleiades, because you can find it in the night sky. If you have a reasonably dark sky, it's famous because it is so noticeable. It's small and compact, and it has the shape of a tiny dipper. Many people mistake it for the real Little Dipper, which is much bigger and much less dipper-like in the northern sky. The other thing about the Pleiades is that it's on what's called the ecliptic, which is the sun's path across our sky. So you're not going to look for the Pleiades far to the north or far to the south. You're always going to look for it along that line from east to west. And of course, in the next few days, you're going to have a helper because the lighted side of the waning moon is going to point to the Pleiades. And here's a chart that Marcy made for us, and she was going to do some explaining here, but let me do that for her. I can see Marcy backstage here. I wish we had her here, but we don't. But having the Pleiades near the moon presents its own special challenge because the moon is so bright. So whatever time of night you look, the moon will be so near the Pleiades that many of its stars will be lost in its glare. And also know that as you're seeing on this chart, the perspective that you have here, just even across the US, is going to change your perspective. So Marcy made this chart from Denver, New York, Austin, and Seattle. And, you know, everybody's getting a slightly different view. And that's why we can't tell you exactly what time the occultation will happen. I think Marcy said that for her, it was going to start at, well, I won't pretend I remember. For me, in Central Time, it was going to start around 10:30. So it will be kind of late at night because it takes a while for the moon to get up. But as soon as the moon rises, you're going to see that it's near that star cluster. And again, the star cluster is going to be partially hidden in the moon's glare. But you should see some of those stars, especially if you're using some kind of optical aid. And that could be binoculars, it could be a telephoto lens on your camera. Some people are talking nowadays about how good their phones have gotten at showing them pictures. Like if you aim your phone up there and you take a picture, it can help you also find things and see things on the sky's dome. So if you just look toward the moon, you should be able to see this. I just want to mention that binoculars, I want to mention again that binoculars will be a big, big help. There are some ways to find the timings on these. You can go to the website of the International Occultation Timing Association, also known as IOTA, and that link is in our post description. On the IOTA page, you'll see a list of dates, and you need to just scroll down to October 9. I think it will list it as October the 10th because it's using universal time. So scroll down to October the 10th, and you should find some timings for these occultation events in universal time. But the other thing to do that might be even better would be to go to Stellarium online. So Stellarium is an online planetarium software, and it will let you dial in your location, and then you can just dial in the night of October. You can do this anytime. You can dial in the night of October the 9th, and then see the moon come up, and you will see that the moon is right next to the Pleiades as it is on this image. And it'll help you figure out exactly what time to look. So Okay, gee, I wish we had Marcy here. I'm sad that she's not here, but we do know that some of you, we have some other helpers here. We do know that some of you might have telescopes. So let's hear now from Sarah Maths, Astro, here on YouTube. Her name is Sarah Matthews. She's got her own YouTube channel, and we asked her how she plans to observe this upcoming Pleiades occultation. So she told me about her telescope setup and also about why she decided to watch the moon occult the Pleiades.
Yeah, I have a couple of different ways. I am an astrophotographer primarily, but I do like to observe every once in a while, especially if I'm maybe doing a live stream. But my first kind of setup is with a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, an 11-inch SCT, and I am going to be using a 2-inch 23-millimeter eyepiece, which I have right back here. But I plan to use this just to kind of get most of the full disk of the moon, and also be able to get some of the stars as well simultaneously. So it'll be a pretty good field of view there with the 11-inch. But I also plan to, if I wanted to take a picture of a kind of close-up view, I planned on taking off the visual back adapter here on my SCT, that is, and then replacing it with what is called like a T adapter, something like this. And it'll look kind of different for different types of telescopes, but it's generally something like this. And you can then use like a DSLR or mirrorless camera, and you just attach it like this where the lens would go, and then attach that to the back, and then just take some photos or even video. I think with occultations, video is really, really awesome. That's primarily what I do with occultations, is do some video, because it's just so neat to see the stars come behind the moon or a planet. So I'm really excited for that. I absolutely love the Pleiades because when it comes to just the history of astronomy and just different cultures studying astronomy throughout the years, I mean, just thousands of years, the Pleiades have been marked in so many different art and artifacts, both for the artistic aspect of, just different artifacts, but also for actually like functional reasons as well, like to be able to plan for when the next hunt was. So when the Pleiades would rise, people would know when the next hunt is. I think that the Pleiades have just been, because they're so faint, but we can still see them with the naked eye, they've just been so incredibly impactful to us as humans. And so being able to see the moon, which has also been incredibly impactful to us as humans, conjoint, like coming together, I don't know, it's a very, just a very cool spectacle to experience. So that's why I'm going to be observing it.
Okay, so I could not hear that either. And I'm going to now think that it's me that's having the hearing problem, not you guys. If that's the case, Marcy, if you think that's the case, come on back and join me. Okay.
Yeah, everyone on YouTube says they can
I
hear
think
me
it must
too.
be my earbuds. Let me take them off.
You're
Hi.
back.
Oh
Hi.
gosh, it was my hearing. Okay. Well, I caused myself a lot of stress there, huh? Let's keep going. So the Pleiades are beloved, and there's just something really special about them, but that's not the only reason to watch this occultation. Let's hear from EarthSky's John Goss. He wanted to be here with us today, but he is traveling. John is a former president of the Astronomical League, which is a nationwide organization of astronomy clubs. And he told me he's observed several occultations of the Pleiades.
You look at the moon and you see the moon orbit the Earth type thing. Well, the moon moves across the sky really in its orbit from west to east. And when it occults the Pleiades, you can sense this because it'll approach it from the right side of the Pleiades and move across it and leave on the left side. And what's really neat about it, at least what I think, what is really neat about it, is that you can see the stars being covered by the moon one by one, and about 50 minutes later, you see them pop out on the moon's dark side one by one, like boom, boom. No, they don't make noises, but boom, boom, boom. And it takes a while for it to do so, though. It could take half hour for all the stars to become blocked, and then another half hour for all the stars to be uncovered. It's worth a look.
So, Marcy, maybe I'm catching you by surprise here, but I want people to get to hear from you. Are you planning to observe the occultation?
I will go out and observe it in pieces. I'm in Wyoming where it's cold and I'm cold all the time. So I'll probably go watch it start and, go back about every 10 or 15 minutes and see what's going on. So if it's clear, and we've had a lot of bad weather lately, if it's clear, I do plan on watching. Maybe I'll get some pictures.
Yeah, and you and your husband have a great setup there, right? You have a dome. Is the telescope, you moved there recently, so is the telescope ready? Is it in the dome? Do you have
Well,
that
we
set
have
up in your observatory?
we're definitely guilty of over telescopes around here. We have 2 telescopes permanently mounted in an observatory. We've got an all sky camera that records the sky all night long. I've got a little smart portable scope, one of those C-Star S50s, and of course we've got cameras with zoom lenses. So I think we're well equipped to observe this and maybe get some pictures.
You better observe it. I'm expecting some
It'd be a
pictures.
shame to let all that go to waste.
That's right. I'm expecting pictures from you and Marty for sure.
I hope
We
so.
do,
We've had a lot of times.
yeah. We do have a community photo page, and we invite you all to submit. If you get images of the event, come to our earthsky.org website, and on the menu bar, you will see where it says community photos. And if you click down that menu bar, you'll see where it says submit a photo. We'd love for all of you to come and submit your photos of this really wonderful Pleiades occultation. So, tell you, they don't happen very often because, as I was saying before, the moon has an 18.6-year cycle. Marcy, you want to tell us about it?
Well, it just goes through cycles, and when this 18.6 cycle hits your area, then you'll see a couple for over a couple of years. So it just goes in cycles. I think the last ones that were visible from Wyoming was a thin crescent, because I do remember seeing that. It was really cool to see. The crescent's not nearly as bright as this moon is going to be, so you could see the Pleiades. But it's the Pleiades is honestly one of my favorite things. My eye just goes directly to it if it's in the sky. So I hope everybody that hasn't found it yet will get to find it and enjoy it for years to come.
Me too. And if you're on any one spot on Earth's globe, you can expect a cluster of these Pleiades occultation events about every 18.6 years. And then you might get several in a year, as we're getting this year. So the years 2023 to 2029 is a time when we can see Pleiades occultations. And 2025 alone has multiple events, but as always in astronomy, some of them are not visible from your part of the world. So we in the US had one on July 20th, and now we have this October 9-10 one, and some will see one on December 3-4. So it's really a special thing, huh, Marcy?
Yeah, in my opinion, anything in the night sky is special to see. So I enjoy it all.
That's right. And I'm sorry that you did not get to see Marcy here the whole time. You can blame that on me. Sorry. But Marcy, you can catch Marcy here on our YouTube channel, giving day-to-day sky watching information all the time. She's producing videos, multiple videos per week about little events going on in the night sky, the moon near stars that you can learn to identify, moon phases, all kinds of stuff. So Marcy, we thank you for that, and we thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. It's good to be here. I hope everybody starts loving the sky as much as I do.
Okay, bye-bye, Marcy. So that is the moon blotting out the Pleiades on October 9-10 as seen from the US and Canada. And the Pleiades is such a beautiful and well-known and much-loved star pattern. We hope you all will take this week to learn to identify it. In fact, we see so many beautiful photos of it from our community that we thought we'd end with a few of those. Wishing you all clear skies.